I'm always reminded that I live in the Twilight Zone. It's just something that I can't help but be familiarized with. So over the past 6 months, I've had this thing looming over me, and it is not enjoyable. It's very frustrating, and it's a reminder of how I just I just don't think I did something wrong here. Um, so the way this begins is that in January I was informed that this house that I had inherited um, had been assessed for its value, and this made it to where the bank every month wanted 2,000 something, in terms of revenue in return. For now, when this was first notified to me, the place had not been paid its taxes, right, for 2 months, and there's like a 90-day thing where if it doesn't get paid every 3 months or at least once every 3 months, it'll go into foreclosure, and then that'll be even more trouble. So against my wishes, because I was looking at this back when that happened. I was like, are you serious? I have to pay $2,000 after, I mentioned I started working at my job back in November. So, and it was like toward the beginning of the month, but still, it's like you only have had a job now for just a few months, and you're going to, crap out thousands of dollars for this place that you don't even want to keep. But the way that this was arranged to me is that, oh, you should at least pay this because then when you sell it, you can get the money for it, then you'll get your money back, right? That was the way it was sold to me. So I pay this thing in January, and I meet with this person to sell it in February, and every month for the last, again, this has been going since January. There's been this almost like Roadrunner Wild Coyote thing of, oh yeah, this house is almost done being sold. It's all, oh, here's this person wants to buy it. It's almost done being sold. And as every 30 days passes and you keep pissing out, because I use the some amount from the actual place itself. It's like 1,600 a month, but I still have to add in six, seven, $800 of my own money to even be able to like pay it for each month. And we'll get into this later, but as a part-time employee of a job and not a full-time one, that eats up quite a bit of my paycheck every single month. But so for these past 6 months, it's been this cat and mouse game of, oh, you have to go pay the property taxes. Oh, go pay the mortgage. Go pay the mortgage. This person directs me to do this each month. This person we'll get into them in a second as well. And again, this has been going for 6 months. When you say to the person, look, how many more months do I have to do this? They can't give you a direct answer. I was informed as early as April that might be the last time. I hope so, they said, while they pay for nothing. Now, there is a very dumb person on this site, Molecule Splitter, who tried to say nobody owes me gas money, right? Tried to basically say that there was something wrong with me for expecting help or assistance from people that claim to care about me as much as they do. Now, of course, I know they don't actually give a damn. That's why they couldn't be bothered to assist you with anything, whether it costs money like food or gas, or whether it's free like helping you to get a job. They just couldn't be bothered to do any of that. But what I find so interesting about his comment is that, and I've said this before, I don't like the idea that someone can tell you, don't expect anything from me, just completely throw you out to the wolves, but then also stick their hand out for something at the same time that they're singing this song about how you need to take care of yourself and be independent. And, they change their narrative a lot. First, they say, when you start living over here, I don't have the money to help you. I have to pay for all these things. And then, you're like, kind of listening to it, and as you live there you start to see the cracks in the logic, right? The person who is so poor, they always find a way to go to a different country for their birthday vacation, which is always like at least a week if not longer. They always, and of course they people who are very poor and can afford to feed someone can certainly go and buy animals and feed those instead. But whatever. You just sit there and you listen to all the lies and all the attempts at making it sound like they're really destitute. That's one thing, but imagine as they're saying this to you, as they're trying to get you to believe that they just can't help with anything. You can't, you name it. They can't assist you with a single utility or thing that you need to survive at all. They're unable to. Their hands have been tied. The same person will come to you every and they were doing this before I had to start paying 700-800 a month on this mortgage for this house, and they're doing it now. Every month they stick their hand out for $300. They stick their hand out for 200 for the internet, and they stick their hand out for 100 just for supplies. And this is a nebulous term they use because they try to say it's like toilet paper and rolls of paper towels, and then it's like, you know, I don't buy it as in terms of that's all they're using it for, because that stuff doesn't cost $100. But also, you would think if they're getting supplies, they're gonna get you some toothpaste or some soap. Nope, still have to buy that yourself. But as I was sitting here and just kind of thinking about it, because eventually I confronted them, well, said like, you know, hey, look, because what happened about 2 or 3 weeks ago was that they got upset with me for not wanting to pick somebody up from school multiple times a week, and the reason for that is because I was working 4 weekdays out of 5, and this school is far away, right? It's like a 30-mile drive to and back, and my job is also far away, but it's like I'm not going to abandon going to work to pick up this person that has multiple people who could pick them up. And say, anyway, so, and it's not my responsibility. And I said that to them, and they were like, if you want to sit there and be lazy, you don't have to be, because they love to threaten to kick somebody out every like 10 seconds. That's their go-to phrase of expression. And I mentioned, like, you're going to say I'm not helping out, and I'm paying 300, 400 just to stay here, and then 700 or 800. I don't care. You know how much I have to pay? And this person, mind you, is 20 years older than me and has a job where they make twice as much as me. But I guess somehow we're comparable to each other. And that was the biggest problem I had, which is that if you listen to them, it's kind of, you know, we talk about like mixed signals. They want you to be able to take care of yourself, but then they also stick their hand out to get things from you, right? Like, you have to apparently pay hundreds of dollars a month just to stay with this person that supposedly loves you, because, you know, people that love each other charge someone to live with them. That's what they do. You also have to pay anywhere from $10 to $20 every week to buy multiple cases of water, because even though you buy a case of like 25 or 40, it'll be gone in less than 7 days, because they just sit there and drink up or waste all of it. And again, they don't care because they're not paying for it, so it's whatever. You're also expected to drive upwards from 30 to 60 miles a week to pick somebody up from school, even though, again, not your responsibility. You don't have any children. And also, this is a far drive that probably is anywhere from probably about like $10 to $15 worth of gas, and they'll never reimburse you for any of this. You're supposed to just do this for them. And as I sat there and I said to myself, because I mentioned before, my job has me as a part-time employee. So I want you to think about this. We have this, the wage over here is like, I think it went up to either like 16 or 20, but it's anywhere from there. That means if I get a 5-day work week, that's about $400, $500. Now, what my job does is that sometimes when it's in the throes of trying to save some money, it cuts people's hours. So, for example, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, they only gave me 3 days a week for multiple weeks. And I said, well, this is not enough to pay all this stuff, so I guess I'll look for another job. And then, to my surprise, they started giving me 5 days a week, because people were quitting and leaving and just getting sick of being, gouged out of money that way. And I thought, okay, they must be willing to go all in on me, right? All in on Justin, great. But then I started to look on the schedule, and now I'm back to just 3 days a week after several weeks of 5 days. Now, they might in the future go back to giving me 5 days, right? But the problem here is that I don't know when that'll be or if that will be. And at first I said, okay, I'm going to try to get a second job. But the problem with doing that is if your first job or the one you had before is so rigid and just like unstable that it can go from giving you 3 days a week to 5 days a week. You could start working somewhere else 3 days a week to mitigate, only being given 3 over there. and then they might end up giving you days that clash with each other, times that clash with each other. Um, it's basically this: if you try to get a second job, because the first one is unstable and you don't know specifically how many days they're going to give you in advance, because they can go from 3 to 5 like that, you might run into scheduling conflicts that can get you kicked out of both jobs if you're not being careful. That's actually what happened to me when I first started working there. I had 2 jobs, and the first one I got hired by, well, technically I got hired by this one first, but the second one like used me, like got me through the orientation and ready to work faster. They got mad at me for prioritizing the second job more, like telling them, "Hey, can we work around that? Like, please, because I, have to drive over there and it's like far." And they didn't care. They threw me out of there. But I said to myself, okay, so at a maximum, if you get 3 days a week for a month, that's like 1,200, or like somewhere over a little bit over 1,000, right? Early thousands. Um, my monthly expenses for, so like, let's just put the property thing, the mortgage thing aside. It's like that's like $700-800. That's already most of the check just gone right there. But then you're talking about car insurance, which used to be $88, now it's 110, and you're also going to throw in this person's ransom, as I call it, which is 200, and another 100 that like get taken from you at the same time. So do you see where, if we're not even counting the basic utilities I have each month that nobody will help me pay for, so it's automatically something I have to deal with, that literally means that your entire check will be gone, like that. You are literally working for nothing, because every goddamn cent goes to something that you do not see a benefit from on a daily basis, besides maybe the internet, and I barely even get to use it anyway because I'm mostly at my job anyway. So this is what like kind of drives me nuts. This person is aware of the fact that I have to pay for, again, my basic utilities, right? Like everything, my survival. And in spite of being aware of that fact, knowing that gas has gone up, food prices are all over the place, I'd wager to say I probably spend about 200 a month on just gas and food by itself, especially, again, having this job where it's like far away. I'm driving long, further distances than ever before, just for the hell of it, or I guess for the purpose of working somewhere. To know that this person is aware of the fact that you have to pay 800 or 700 for this house, and then 200 for, if not more than that, for your basic utility, and then at the end of this they still stick their hand out for 300 a month, well, 400 if you count the insurance, which is like the only thing I even think should make sense for me having to pay. It's absolutely insane. And it drives me crazy to think that when I first started staying over here, the agreement was that it would be 100 a month, and then they got mad. They did their little crybaby temper tantrum, tried to make it 500. That led to me leaving, and then it got lowered down to. But it's like, now that I have this other larger thing I have to pay, they won't lower it. They won't even consider, like, hey, I got to suspend this because look at how much all this other stuff. Like, it doesn't matter to them, because I don't matter to them. I'm nothing to them. That's why I said all these stupid relationships where people make everything about themselves, they don't care if you live or die. The only way you can get this person to even contemplate or consider the idea that they might have done something wrong in terms of this stuff just costing too much is if I just get up and leave and be homeless a second time. Which is like, that's the only thing I can think to do at this point, because the stuff just costs too much. So I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this month. I most likely will just end up leaving again. Um, it's not going to affect me uploading stuff on here. Just know that I feel like I have tried as hard as I can. And I said this in my rebuttal to Molecule, the idiot splitter. I have worked every single chance these people have given me to work. I've not missed one day since I started working there 7 months ago. I have taken other people's shifts when they wanted to call out sick. I bring it up to say that I truly do not know what more I can do. I went through 11 months of minus on my bank account because nobody was helping me to pay for anything, and I was getting charged anywhere from 100 to 300 a month just to stay at this place. and then I finally get a job, and then like for a month, you get a little tiny boost, and then it's just been minus, minus, minus. So let it be known that sometimes you can try as hard as you may, but there are people and circumstances in this world that will knock you down before you can even stand up.